Hello and welcome everybody to the November 27th regular meeting of the Town Council of Vegreville. I'll start the meeting off by calling this meeting to order at 7:01. I'll be looking for a motion to adopt the agenda. Councillor Bullock, by the way, nice to see you back. You were under the weather for a few meetings. Good to
Thanks. Good to be back.
Is there any additions or deletions to the agenda? Seeing none, all those in favor? Carried. Next up, adoption of the minutes of our last regular council meeting. Councillor Curtis makes the motion. Any errors or omissions within those minutes? Seeing nothing, all those in favor? Carried. First up, under supplemental, we have a minister from the Honorable Mike Ellis, Minister of Public Safety and Emergency Services. Dear Mayor McPhee, the Ministry of Public Safety and Emergency Services would like to continue its support for police servicing delivery to those municipalities solely responsible for the cost of their own policing services. To that end, funding the police support program has been approved for the 23-24 fiscal year. Your municipality will be receiving the same amount or equal to the grant funding support your municipality received last year for 22-23. This decision to approve and maintain grant funding at this level has been made due to continued financial pressures in delivering of policing across the province, and in the context of overall supports provided as we move forward on changes to policing in Alberta. In terms of grant use, the purpose of the PSG funds is to ensure the delivery of policing oversight, and implementing of policing incentives and priorities, the ability to support enhanced policing services to your municipality. To maintain current funding for your municipality, we are enclosing agreements for your municipality's PSG effective April 1, 2023, and expiring on March 31st, 2024. Funds will be dispersed within a reasonable time following the signing of that agreement. To facilitate that, please print and review the enclosed agreement and return by signed agreement by December 1st to the following email address. If you have any questions, you may contact Mr. Peter Pilgrim, Police Planning and Contact Coordinator. Sincerely yours, Honorable Mike Ellis, Deputy Premier of Alberta, Minister of Public Safety and Emergency Services. Okay, I'll like to get a motion to receive and file. Councillor Lemko makes the motion. Any discussion?
Yeah, Your Worship, it's interesting that we retain the same amount of funding as we have in the past, yet the policing costs to our community have risen substantial with the new contracts that we need to have in place. Hopefully they realize that and recognize that in future. I also note that the minister has our CAO as the wrong CAO on our letter.
Yes, and we cleared that up today with them, and they know who the CAO is now. It says right here, this decision to approve and maintain grant funding at this level has been made due to continued financial pressures in delivering policing across the province. So it was overfunded before. They must be thinking that the funding level is good with that increased pricing that we're experiencing. It is what it is. Sandra, do you know how much the grant is for?
The grant is for $345,664.
Go ahead, Councillor Ruby.
So I'm curious, for the grant that was provided to City of Grand Prairie, for example, to experiment and create their own police force, which in essence means that the province is no longer supporting RCMP delivery in that municipality, it would seem by its very nature that that would increase the pot that was available for the rest of us. That isn't the case.
Well, we do know that this is a federal grant that is divvied up among municipalities that have RCMP. Mm-hmm. So if you take one out of the pool, you think that it would be increasing. but they haven't switched to the RCMP yet. So I would imagine for this year, it'll probably take them another full year for them to come off and start their own police funding. And I don't think the Premier's made any secret of it, that any municipality that would like to look into having its own policing, there will be grant funding available for those municipalities that would like to take a look at it. Go ahead, Councillor Barry.
Thank you, Your Worship. I was just noting here that this agreement that being asked to sign December 1st expires 31st of 2024.
Well,
So then we'll be going into negotiations, or actually, we don't get to negotiate, that's right. We'll be informed as to what changes are going to occur sometime after March 31st, 2024.
this will be the funding for 2024. The Alberta government doesn't run their year end the same time on policing as, or I shouldn't say the Alberta government, the RCMP do not run their year end the same as the municipalities. Our year end is at the end of December, and theirs is at the end of April.
Okay, so this will apply for our fiscal year as well then. Thank you.
Councillor Lemko.
Yeah, Your Worship, I understand we got over 300,000 as part of this grant. It'd be very nice to know for the number of what the dollar cost that the citizens of Vegreville pay for policing. We always talk about how high it is and how high it is. This 300-some thousand is what percentage of the amount of money that we actually pay for policing in our community year after year? I bet you the number's pretty low.
Well, we can get that information if you'd be willing to wait till the first of the new year till we get done our budgeting cycle here. Our staff is pretty busy doing that right now.
Oh, for sure. I think the point I'm trying to make is that I may know that what the numbers are, but the citizens of Vegreville who are paying the bill don't really know numbers, and it'd be nice for them to know.
Okay, well, we can definitely look into that, having that number for you at the first of the year. Seeing no other comments, all those in favor of the motion? Carried. Thank you all. Next up, we have bylaw 06-2023, and that's going to be presented by Manager Newton. Go ahead, Mitch.
Thank you, Your Worship. Bylaw 06-2023 is our new bylaw enforcement officer bylaw that we're asking that you do all three readings tonight, and it'll be replacing bylaw 14-2018, the previous bylaw. And the new bylaw is just basically clearing up titles that are more generic than it was in the past, where in our other bylaw, we had specific positions that some that don't no longer exist, and just clearly stating their duties for each bylaw officer that's appointed under the Municipal Government Act and that bylaw.
Okay, thank you very much, Mitch. So again, we talked about this the last ledge meeting. It's not a big change, but the definition in terms of each position and the names. So is there any questions regarding the new bylaw? Okay, seeing none, I will take a motion for the first reading. Councillor Barry makes the motion. Any comments? All those in favor? Carried. I'll take a motion for the second reading. Councillor Curtis makes that motion. All those in favor? Carried. I'll take a motion for unanimous consent. Councillor Rudick makes that motion. All those in favor? Carried. And a motion for the third and final reading made by Councillor Bullock. Thank you. All those in favor? Carried. Okay, thank you very much, Manager Newton. And that looks like the business side of our meetings. You can tell it's getting close to Christmas and budget. So we'll start with Councillor Rudick with council reports.
I can't seem to open my document, so give me 1 second.
We are going to go to Councillor Lemko, and
Thank
then
you.
we'll give you some time. Sorry for that.
Thank you, Your Worship. My report is quite brief. I attended the budget meeting on November 16th. November 20th, I was in on a ASA Zoom call, which is an update on the Ukrainian program that is being offered in Alberta and across Canada. So just some numbers in that, which I will save to another day. On November 21st, I was here in council chambers for the proclamation photo for the International Day of People with Disabilities. November 21st as well, the Ledge meeting. 24th, along with your worship, I was helping pick up food for the food bank from No Frills and Walmart. On the 24th as well, I attended a meeting at the Homestead Lodge. It was a Zoom call with our consultant in preparation for this Wednesday's information session with municipal councils involved with the Homestead Foundation. And tonight's council meeting, your worship, and that's all I have.
Thank you very much. Now we'll come back to Councillor Riddick.
Thank you. Sorry, I was having computer issues. Nothing was opening. So since we last met on November 16th, we had a budget meeting, and happy to see staff have worked really hard. Some difficult decisions and discussions that we're having to make, partially due to some of the things we talked about tonight with RCMP funding, for example. November 16th, right after that, I was happy to join the mayor to be able to meet with some of our K Division folks, including the commander, Curtis Zablocki, to talk about some of the challenges that we've got with RCMP funding and delivery of service and how we can work together as partners providing leadership in the community. And I'll let you share more of that detail. November 17th, I had a number of FCM meetings leading up to last week, November 20th to the 24th. I was in Ottawa for Federation of Canadian Municipalities Advocacy Days in Ottawa. It happens once a year. We've got representatives from across the country, 75 members of our board meeting in Ottawa to meet with various MPs, senators, cabinet ministers to talk about various points of advocacy. We met with all three major parties and talked with them, and it's a very interesting time to be able to have these conversations, particularly because it was the fall economic statement. And needless to say, some of the things we talked about with the government were our disappointment that there was no direct addressing of the needs of municipalities, that the latest figures, we did actually a press release last week, that the share of municipalities in terms of revenue has now dropped to 8 cents on the dollar. So what that means is that Canada is growing in communities across the country, like ours, Vegreville, for example, and provinces' revenue has gone up drastically, but the share for municipalities has dropped. So while the growth that Alberta or Canada is experiencing is largely driven by the work that we do in these communities and the conversations that we have around these tables, the tool that we have in terms of taxation is a broken model from the 1900s that no longer delivers the assurance, the stability, and the sustainability that we need for funding. So what we talked a lot about is a new way of looking at things, that we need a new municipal growth framework, and that, for example, the infrastructure needs that need to be happening that we're all counting on, for example, Canada Community Building Fund, ISIP funding across the country, all of us are making budgetary decisions, and none of these decisions have been made. Needless to say, the conversation from the Conservative Party of Canada was very much focused on housing and affordability, and everything is through that lens. We had great conversations with the Deputy Leader, Tim Uppel, and Scott Aitchison, who is the housing and infrastructure critic, about the role that municipalities play. Mr. Aitchison is a former mayor, and so he understands very well about municipal role. We weren't called gatekeepers once in that meeting, so that was very appreciated. And we also met with the leader of the NDP, Jagmeet Singh, to talk about affordability and what that means for municipalities in terms of investing in infrastructure. A lot of conversation across the country about the increased cost for contract policing with RCMP. There are jurisdictions that are actually considering a 15% tax increase, if you can believe that. And these are not, this is hot on the heels of doing similar increases last year. They have places where their assessment of their properties have gone up so drastically due to inflationary pressures that people's properties have doubled, their incomes have not, and municipalities are just struggling to keep pace with some of the cost increases. So all I have to say about that is that there are hard times, but there are some really good examples of people doing some incredible work across the country. So very happy to be there as past president on the table officers representing Vegreville. Had some great conversations and some, I'll look forward to some outcomes in the beginning of the new year in terms of outcomes of some of the advocacy, as well as some of the investment that we're looking forward to. One other thing I just want to draw attention to is a resolution that was adopted into policy by FCM at our last board meeting in September, and it refers directly to the Rural Transit Operating Funding. It was put forward by Alberta municipalities, and it refers directly to the need to call out provincial government to provide operational funding for transit systems in small and medium-sized municipalities and work with the FCM to echo this call to the federal government. And this talks about the need for sustainable ongoing funding for transit. They keep identifying the need to densify housing and the need to be able to provide transit or some mode of transportation. And this kind of speaks to what we've been talking about for some while here and are going to be talking more intensely about. So just wanted to draw attention to that. This has been put into FCM policy, a resolution that was brought forward and will remain on the books as part of our advocacy. And tonight's council meeting, and that is my report.
Thank you very much. Councillor Bullock, I know you've been under the weather, but you've been joining us on a different site. Confero, is that what we're calling it?
Confero.
Confero, there we go.
So, anyways, on November 16th, I attended virtually our 2024 budget meeting. Virtually again on November 21st, the legislative committee meeting, and then finally showed up live at the Christmas light up parade. And tonight we had the FCSS advisory board meeting, which was my first meeting on that board. And I got to chair the meeting, and the highlight for me was the Kalena Family Resources Network Hub, which does family referrals and 5 families connected to appropriate agencies. They have a soaring program. Kalena, FRN Spoke, has a friend den, baby talk, stay and play, pancakes and play, and something that really caught my attention was grandparents and me. A new referred family had joined our program, creating unity and connection with other families in the community. Something that I got from that, though, they're seeing more and more grandparents that are starting to be the primary caregiver. So we're very lucky to have FRN in our area to handle these types of situations and get the people to the right programs they need. So very excited to be part of FCSS, and going forward, I'm going to learn a lot more. I could see that already. And tonight's town council meeting.
Thank you, and good job with your first board chair over there. Those people, they know what they're doing, so they can help you the learning process.
That they will.
Councillor Barry.
Thank you, Worship. Nothing really exciting. Budget meeting on November the 16th, followed by a food bank pickup on the 17th. 21st, I was here for the signing the proclamation for the International Day of Persons with Disabilities. Ledge meeting on the 21st as well. I too was at the Christmas Light Up Parade. It was really nice to have the weather that we had this year. Seemed to have a fair number of people come out to see the candle get lit up. And tonight's council meeting.
Okay, thank you very much. Councillor Curtis.
Thank you. I attended our budget meeting on the 16th as well, and I tagged along to the RCMP meeting. I wanted to see what was going on and hear their side of the story. I think it was a good, productive meeting. Maybe have some people in our corner around here at least going forward. The 21st, we had a ledge meeting, and the 22nd to the 24th, I went to the FCSS conference in the city, and some highlights from that. One of the sessions that I went to was around keeping volunteers, and we know that that's an issue everywhere right now. There was a very good slideshow on different ways and different ideas that you can use to promote keeping volunteers, keeping them happy, understanding what they need, micro-volunteering and things like that. They're going to be emailing that out, and I think our FCSS group is going to meet with some of the nonprofits around and share that information and give them some ideas on how they can up their members, keep their members. As well, it goes along with the meeting they had to try and have a volunteer pool where they could help each other out when they were doing events. and keep the burnout down. And to go along with that, I just want to talk about the FCSS is doing a holiday programmer party on December 14th. So that's for all the volunteers that come and work around with FCSS and other groups in town, which is another way. Recognition is a good way to keep volunteers in, letting them know that they're needed and they're supported, and thanking them for that. Then I attended the Light Up Parade on the 24th, and then our FCSS board meeting tonight, which Councillor Bullock did a great job chairing and spoke to it already today. And then our council meeting tonight.
And where is this December the 14th event being held?
It's at the library. I have it in my phone. Is it? Yeah.
Start time is?
3 to 5.
Okay, well, again, thank you all for what you do out there in the community and on your boards there. I know that the community appreciates it. So I'm starting mine on the 16th, the budget meeting. Also, later that day, Councillor Rudick and Councillor Curtis joined me, meeting with the Commandant of K Division here in Alberta and some other members of his team that we've met with more than a few times already. And I got to meet the new, well, he's not new, but the first time I met him is the commanding officer for the northeast portion of the province. Again, we discussed the same issues we've been discussing for a while, is what this municipality can afford when it comes to the policing costs and the rate they're rising. And I do believe that they understand us 100% now, where we're coming from. They're not in control of what the costs are going to be, but they understand, and I think we have a lot better working relationship as we move forward, and what we'd like to see on monthly audits on how many officers are being billed to the municipality, at what time does the billing code change to go to the province if somebody's brought into town, and hopefully it doesn't fall on overtime falling to the town when it again should be a provincial problem. And we've had a lot of reassurance here at the detachment level with our staff sergeant that he is doing the best job he can to make sure that all the officers involved know that, you know, where the billing should go to and not being, you know, lackadaisical or anything like that. So we also talked about the staffing situation that we've seen here for probably the last year. It's been really understaffed provincially and municipal enforcement. I know they've got a new recruit right now. He's been here for 2 months. They're telling us that in January or the 1st of February, we can expect another recruit. So as far as the municipality, we may be up to a level that we said that we could afford. We could afford that many officers if there was 4 on the provincial side. Because no matter what, I mean, we work under a pooled policing program here, and we know that even though we're paying for X amount of officers, they may not always be in town because crime doesn't stop at our borders. But we want to make sure that the provincial side is fully staffed first before they start billing us for any more officers. And the fact that the officers here and the staff sergeant, they have worked hard all summer. They've been going sometimes a month and a half without a day off. And, you know, when you've got a young family and stuff, it becomes a burnout situation for these officers and stuff. So I really thought that Curtis and his team addressed it. I know that they're trying their best. They let us know that there is a lot more recruits right now that are coming out of depot than what we've seen in the last year. So the classes are filling up again. So our expectations, their expectation is that Alberta will get more. And where they go in Alberta, everybody's in the same situation. Everybody's looking for more officers. But again, I thank you, councillors, for setting in and helping out with that conversation. On the 20th, CAO Ling and myself traveled to the Legislative Building, and we had a meeting with R.J. Sigerson, the Minister of Agriculture, and his team. And we were joined by our MLA, Jackie Hominick. And we just wanted to get a feel for where the Minister of Agriculture, where they're at with a hemp strategy, because they made some announcements that there was going to be a large hemp processing center here in Vegreville, and We know a lot of people in the hemp industry that want to be very close to that facility in our park. He's new to the ministry, and they're finding out some facts for us, and they will be getting back to us. But more than that, we talked to him about what additions they might be able to help us with when it comes to Prosperity Park. We want to be in the agriculture sector. We want to make value-added products in our park. And we were assured that we will spend a lot more time with their investment wing of the Ministry of Agriculture. And we are in the process now of trying to set up more contacts. So as industry, different types of industry, provincially, federally, internationally, start coming, looking at the ministry and where they could be in Alberta, we want to be more involved in that conversation moving forward. So I thank CAO Ling for coming with me, and I think the meeting went fairly well. It was nice to meet the new minister. We had a good relationship with the last minister. On November 22nd, I sat in with Crossroads, which is the new economic development resource that's being sponsored by the county, the town of Vegreville, the village of Innisfree, and the town of Manville. And they have a one-year pilot project going, and it looks like things are going to be moving forward over there. So, and that's good. I mean, anything that happens within the county is good for the town of Vegreville. So we signed on as a sponsor on the grant funding, and I think the county is taking that next step, understanding economic development, what it means to them and their tax base as well. Also on the 21st, we had the signing of the International Day of People with Disabilities here at our facility, and Derek was in, and he brought some people from his organization, and it was actually a lot of fun, really, to tell you the truth. On the 21st Alleged meeting, the 22nd, I took a picture for the mayor's monthly business spotlight. On the 23rd, it was day 2 of the emergency management exercise that was held here. So the first day was mostly for staff of town of Manville, Innisfree, the county, and the town of Vegreville. I think that's all the municipalities that were, and Minburn. Okay. So on day 2, elected officials were here and watched the process, and it was a tabletop day 2, and you know, it all worked to see all the teams and the different municipalities and the role that we're all going to play within emergency situations within the county here. There was elected officials from all the other municipalities. I felt kind of alone by myself, considering the representation we had from all the other municipalities, but I'll bring that up later when we're not on camera. But it was a good exercise, and I don't know, Manager Newton, you probably took a lot out of it. You being the head honcho of the whole situation. Dale, you've been through Director Lefebvre, you've been through a few of these. But I thought all the teams, it started a little slow, but everybody picked up the pace, and all we got to do was throw monkey wrenches into the situation. It was all, our roles were written up, and then as they thought they were making progress, we threw a few wrenches in there to slow them down. So it was real life. I mean, these things happen in emergency situations, so it was a very good exercise, and the lady that put it on, so I thought she did a very good job. On the 24th, myself and Councillor Lemko were back at the food bank, and it's getting to be 4 truckloads. We used to be able to do it in a truckload and a half, but that's just where the needs are today. So, and then we had the light up and Christmas parade downtown, and I want to thank the staff for all the work they did on the 2 floats and the candy. It was well organized, and it was nice to see the weather cooperated, so that was really good. And tonight's town council meeting. So again, thank you all for what you do on your boards. And okay, so that being said, is there any other business of council? Well, seeing none, I would like to adjourn this meeting at 7:31. 30 minutes.
I think that deserves a gavel hit.
I don't know, okay, we'll do it.